পৃষ্ঠা ৩১২ continued. Problem of deforestation. Points. Introduction. Causes of deforestation, causes of global warming, consciousness of every individual required. Conclusion. Deforestation has led us to the brink of extinction. Nowadays, we face the problem of global warming, environmental pollution, insufficient rain, and many other hazards which are পৃষ্ঠা ৩১৩ directly or indirectly caused by the evils of deforestations. People cut off trees mercilessly in order to build houses and factories in the name of progress. We forget that trees cause rains and bring balance in ecological system. Urbanization produces carbon dioxide, and we destroy trees which absorb carbon dioxide, which is a threat to life. Consequently, it results in environmental pollution, and this environmental pollution further causes the global warming, which may destroy human civilization in future. But the most regrettable fact is that people remain careless of the indispensability of the trees and plants, and the government does not seek to find out the ways of taking preventive measures. We are pitifully indifferent to this problem of deforestation, but we should admit the fact that government alone can never solve the problem. In the sphere of school and college education, tree plantation should be emphasized and made compulsory. The government should design plans to preserve the forests and to protect the trees and plants in the cities and towns. Illegal construction must be prohibited. Hopefully, such measures will help to save mankind. Word notes. Indispensability, অপরিহার্যতা, extinction, অবলুপ্তি, emphasize, গুরুত্ব দেওয়া, prohibited, নিষিদ্ধ. The place of women in our society. Points. Introduction, practice of dowry, feminist movement, role of women in bringing change in society. Conclusion. In the patriarchal society, women are submissive. Even in the 21st century, women cannot enjoy freedom like the male members of the society. Although some women have been able to uplift themselves, many women are being tortured both mentally and physically in the male-dominated society. In spite of the Hindu Code Law of 1956, the practice of dowry is still rampant in the society. The government cannot enforce the law to stop this evil system. Women's education and accomplishment are still not proportionate to the worth of women. In movies, magazines, and in some other spheres, women are being continually exposed to shame and dishonor. Women's rights can be saved by women only. They should be united above all. They should become strong enough in their thoughts and actions. If they think that submission to male domination means their happiness, they can never stand by their own causes. Besides, they should not be self-centered. They must think of their own sisters. The position of Indian women can therefore only change if women themselves give up old fashioned thoughts and fears and prejudices. The process is slow in India because Indian women, still illiterate and financially dependent, hesitate to protest against the injustices being done to them. Word notes: patriarchal society, পুরুষ শাসিত সমাজ, সাবমিসিভ, আত্মসমর্পিত, অ্যাকমপ্লিশমেন্ট, কার্য সম্পাদন, ডমিনেশন, প্রভাব, প্রেজুডিসেস, সংস্কার, হেজিটেট, ইতস্তত করা। Problem of unemployment. Points: Introduction, role of political leaders, despair among the youth, measures to be taken by the government, conclusion. Problem of unemployment in India, especially in our West Bengal, is indubitably a great threat to the progress of our nation. There is little doubt that since 1947, political and economic corruptions have constantly been proliferating in India. More than 60% people belong to below poverty line. It is no doubt a shame to our country. The most heinous cause of this poverty is, of course, the problem of unemployment. The educated youth in our country cannot find employment. Overpopulation is a major cause of unemployment in India. There is an abundance of manpower but insufficient employment opportunities. Despair and fears make the young generations angry. They often get diverted from the path of virtue and start participating in anti-social activities. If the government is interested to eradicate the problem of unemployment for betterment of people and development of country, some measures should be taken as soon as possible. Vocational training must be given to the youth. Industrialists should be welcomed. Agricultural operation should be encouraged. Vacancies in different fields of works should be filled up by way of giving appointments to the candidates who are really worthy of the jobs, and above all, authority concerned for various appointments should be liberal, honest, and prudent. The government should not forget that many valuable lives are being lost because of the callous, C-A-L-L-O-U-S, callous eyes of unjust systems. Word notes: proliferating, হু করে বাড়ছে, heinous, জঘন্য, disappointment, হতাশা, eradicate, সমূলে উৎপাটন করা, vocational training, বৃত্তিমূলক শিক্ষা, vacancies, শূন্য পদ. The curse of communalism. Points: Introduction, unity in diversity of religion, the partition by the British, recent incidents of communalism and terrorism, conclusion. Communalism means loyalty and commitment to the interests of someone's own community or ethnic group rather than to society as a whole. The curse of communalism is the worst threat to the development of a nation like India. Many people belonging to many religions are living in this country. Therefore, the lack of communication is one of the major problems which has constantly been disturbing India. Hinduism, Islam, Christianity, Buddhism, Jainism, and many other religions are found in this great country. as people of different religions, পৃষ্ঠা 314, are living here, there is a danger of disintegration, but fortunately they have been living here quite peacefully. And this unity in diversity is certainly the time-tested tradition of India. Communalism is a curse that hinders the harmony of modern India. The root of this curse lies in the partition of Bengal in 1905 by the British. Unfortunately, Indians are now indulging themselves in mean communalism. If we continue to build the walls built with the brick and mortar of hatred and intolerance, then the partition of 1947 will revisit us. Word notes: ethnic, জাতিগত, disintegration, বিভেদ, hinders, বাধা দেয়, mortar, ইট গাঁথার জন্য প্রয়োজনীয় বালি, সিমেন্ট ইত্যাদি, hatred, ঘৃণা. Terrorism in India. Points. Introduction: the relation between India and Pakistan, the deep-rooted problem of terrorism, efforts to restore peace, conclusion. Communal disharmony is one of the causes of terrorism in India. Indians belong to different ethnic groups, prejudiced. Some of them show their commitment to their own minority, and this kind of conservative attitude is the genesis of terrorism in India. Terrorism is the new weapon to cause chaos, giving the upper hand to negative forces in society. The terrorists threaten the peace in Jammu and Kashmir. They have often attacked India by way of causing explosions in large cities like Mumbai, Delhi, and Hyderabad. Some Tamil terrorists have also been constantly threatening peace of India. Among the most crucial problems that India is now facing is the activities of the Maoists in different parts of the country. All the political leaders and the government are aware of the fact that communal disharmony causes terrorism, but little is being done to redress the problem. Thus, liberalism of Indians and proper development of the country, and above all, good administration are very necessary to stop this evil of terrorism. Every Indian should be conscious of the curse of terrorism and should do all in order to restore peace of India. All of us want India to become one of the premier nations of the world. But for this, terrorism must be put to an end. It poses the greatest hindrance to the progress of modern India. Word notes: communal, সাম্প্রদায়িক, reign, রাজত্ব, genesis, সূচনা, ethnic, জাতিগত, at stake, বিপন্ন, redress, প্রতিকার করা, hindrance, বাধা. Drug addiction, a global danger. Points. Introduction, victims, proper enforcement of the laws required, a global problem, conclusion. Drug addiction is nowadays a global danger. Most of the people, especially young, become addicted to drugs. There are many kinds of drugs available in our country. Drugs are used by addicts to escape from reality. Inconsistency is the main characteristic of this addiction. Drug addicts experience violent mood swings. Children from broken families, adults dissatisfied with life, people with personality disorders are the most common victims of drug addiction. Selling of drugs in a lucrative smuggling business. Selling of drugs is a lucrative smuggling business. Although some laws have been passed, they are ineffective in reality. Many nations are also involved in this illegal trade. Most of the countries are now conscious of this global danger. Only consciousness of the people can mitigate global danger of drug addiction. More sympathetic interaction among people, generation of better employment opportunities and better health care provisions are the more sympathetic interaction among people, generation of better employment opportunities and better health care provisions are the only antidotes to this danger. Word notes: addicted ashokto, mood swings, মেজাজ বদলানো, lucrative আকর্ষণীয়, antidotes প্রতিষেধক. A film you have recently seen. Points: introduction, the story, the treatment of the plot, acting, conclusion. I have recently seen the celebrated BBC film of a classic romance, Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. It is certainly the most successful classic drama released ever in the UK. The great film has been produced by Sue Birtwistle and directed by Simon Langton. Carl Davis has given the music of the film. It has been adapted by Andrew Davies. The movie has many stars, Colin Firth in the most famous of them. Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice is one of the best novels on men and manners even written. The novel is about the pride and prejudice of Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy. The arrival of the wealthy Mr. Darcy in the neighborhood brings about great exhilaration within the Bennet family. One of the 5 daughters Mrs. Bennet feels is sure to triumph over the heart of the wealthy young aristocrat. The fate befalls the spirited Elizabeth. She judged Mr. Darcy on first impressions and the malicious gossip of friends and turns down his advances. Subsequently, she busies herself with the stormy romances and scandal of her sisters. She once again finds herself in the company of Mr. Darcy when he rescues the family from scandal. Her opinion of Mr. Darcy begins to change, and finally she falls in love with that proud young man. I felt exquisite pleasure while seeing the movie. Colin Firth and Jennifer Ehle held me spellbound with their performances. Rightly does the cable world of the USA remark that the movie is gorgeously filmed, wonderfully acted, beautifully costumed, leisurely staged, smartly edited, and extremely amusing. Word notes: exhilaration, unmadana, malicious বিদ্বেষ পরায়ণ, ট্রাম্প ওভার, জয়লাভ করা, এক্সকুইজিট, দারুণ। পৃষ্ঠা 315। A book you have recently read. Points: Introduction, the story, why I like it, conclusion. I have recently read William Shakespeare's The Tempest. It is the last play of the great playwright, which was written in the last play of the great playwright আবার পড়ছি। I have recently read William Shakespeare's The Tempest. It is the last play of the great playwright, which was written in 1611 at Stafford. Prospero was a learned man more interested in magic than in administering his dukedom. He did not like to rule Milan as merely a duke. His power was his wisdom. His brother Antonio took opportunity of this craving for knowledge and conspired to drive him away from Milan with the help of the king of Naples, Alonso. Prospero and his daughter eventually took shelter in an alien island. Caliban was an evil spirit living in that island. Gradually, Prospero dominated Caliban and became a supreme power by way of his white magic. Dr. Faustus of Marlowe exercised necromancy, but Prospero used his magic for good causes. He was helped by Arid, a good spirit. Hence his magic was a boon, not a bane. His daughter Miranda was a lovable and beautiful young lady. Ferdinand, the Prince of Naples, was shipwrecked along with Antonio and his father, the King of Naples. They came to this mysterious island. Miranda was much surprised to see a beautiful young man for the first time. Seeing Ferdinand, she cried out, quote, "Oh, brave new world," unquote. Later, Miranda and Ferdinand fell in love. Prospero wanted to test Ferdinand's devotion to his daughter. Ferdinand won the mind of Prospero. Using his white magic, Prospero taught everyone, including his brother, good lessons. Alonso, Antonio, and Sebastian realized their misdeeds. Gonzalo, who helped Prospero once to escape from his cruel brother, was rewarded. Finally, everyone was reconciled. The happy reunion of the play implies the fact that Prospero is a major figure who, by way of using his white magic, helps everyone reconcile in spite of shortcomings. Honesty and goodness have been rewarded. I felt much aesthetic pleasure while reading the play. Word notes: playwright, নাট্যকার, necromancy, ডাইনিবিদ্যা, eventually, ঘটনাক্রমে, alien, অজানা, shortcomings, সীমাবদ্ধতা, aesthetic, নান্দনিক, shipwrecked, জাহাজডুবি, reconcile, পুনর্মিলন, ঘটা। Terrorism in India. Points. Introduction. আবার পড়ছি। Your idea of a gentleman. Points. Introduction. Qualities of a gentleman. His role in society. Conclusion. A gentleman is a man of refinement. This refinement refers to politeness in nature and behavior, true education, sense of propriety, morality, benevolent social attitude, and ideology and virtues of human beings. A gentleman behaves with other people, whether be they poor or rich, educated or illiterate, politely, so much so that others are to a great extent influenced by him. We can take for granted his behavior as a model for all. When people are alienated because of the modern trends of heartless competition and lack of communication, a gentleman is really the bedrock of any civilized society. A gentleman can make a balance of the past culture and the present one, thereby helping others accept what is good for people and its society. It is because a gentleman is generally free of prejudices and false concepts of snobbery. He likes to participate in social work as well as in the work which relate the development of people. His faculty of reason and unprejudiced sense help people determine the right way for life. Even in stressful circumstances, he remains amiable, liberal, and logical. Thus, a fair way of dealing with people, participation in the social development, logical approach to life and its problems, power of observation and right judgment, true education generating benevolent convictions, and above all, human virtues like justice, mercy, and temperance are all the characteristics of a gentleman. When we have been constantly threatened by terrorism, political and social unrest, corruption in the field of education and employment, we are really in want of gentlemen who will extricate us from despair and pave the way for a better future. Word notes: ideology, আদর্শগত ভাবনা; alienated, বিচ্ছিন্ন হয়ে পড়া; prejudice, ভ্রান্ত ধারণা; snobbery, জালিয়াতি; convictions, বিশ্বাস. My neighbors and locality. HS Model Question 2024 wbchse. Points: location, boundary, neighbors, features of the locality, your impression about the locality. I live in a small village in the district of Nodia. On the east of my house, the river Jolongi flows in a leisurely manner, obstructed by barriers and garbage. My neighbors are a diverse and friendly group who live together amicably. They are always willing to lend a helping hand. In the south lives my uncle. He loves gardening. He shares his fresh produce with other neighbors. On the west lives Kasem Chacha, who is a good storyteller. On the north is a cottage of a monk. All houses possess gardens of a wide variety of plants and vegetables. Ours is a small house with a flower garden in the front and an orchard at the back. The village is calm and quiet. People of our locality have a strong sense of community. We have all the beauties and amenities of life. There are a primary school, a higher secondary school, a post office, a primary health center, a big playground, a bank, and a market at the center of our village. In the afternoon, students play in the field and children assemble in the park. The whole locality vibrates with life on every festive occasion. During Durga Puja, Eid and other festivals, people of the locality organize cultural programs. Amidst the lush greenery of our locality, we enjoy a very peaceful life. Nowhere in the world such a sweet home can be found. Like all my neighbors, I have a strong love for my sweet home. Prishta 316. Word notes: leisurely, ধীর গতিতে, diverse, বৈচিত্র্যময়, amicably, সৌহার্দ্যপূর্ণভাবে, orchard, ফলের বাগান, community, ঐক্য. অ্যাসেম্বল জড়ো হওয়া, ভাইব্রেটস রনিত হওয়া, লাশ সতেজ, ইউজ অ্যান্ড অ্যাবিউজ অফ দ্য টেলিভিশন। আবার পড়ছি, এখানে কমিউনিটি অর্থ দেওয়া আছে ঐক্য, ইউনিটি অর্থ ঐক্য, কমিউনিটি অর্থ সম্প্রদায়। এখানে লেখা আছে কমিউনিটি ঐক্য। Use and abuse of the television. Points. Introduction: a powerful tool of social conscience. Its abuses. Conclusion: television is a modern invention. It is no doubt something which ushered progress of civilization. Social consciousness and varied important factors are first aroused by the aid of television. It is a wonderful medium to bring to our notice the injustice of society and rouse our conscience. But this television is now being abused constantly by some commercially minded people. The young generation is now often misguided. Mere entertainment is presented on the different television channels. Meaningless serials and reality shows are thrilling but without any moral impact. Crimes and social disorder are presented so crudely that the minds of the young people are overwhelmed with frustration and despair. The ultimate result is social alienation, which brings about moral dilemma. Advertisements, sponsors, etc. are the economic support of the different channels. They are often bound to work for the corporates sponsoring them. The inevitable result of this kind of commercial debasement is of course disintegration in the sphere of culture and education. Therefore, we must be conscious of the fact that television is not merely a media for entertainment. Rather, it is a source of important social and cultural messages. Word notes: ushered দেখিয়েছিল, impact প্রভাব, overwhelmed বিহ্বল হয়ে পড়া, despair হতাশা, alienation বিচ্ছিন্নতা, dilemma বিহ্বল অবস্থা। The internet, its use and abuse. Points: information and entertainment, results: email, buying and selling, easy access to information, obscenity, cybercrimes. Internet is no doubt indispensable in modern civilization. This scientific innovation is so helpful that few spheres remain in this world which are being organized without the application of computers. Internet is a means to enhance one's knowledge and perception, wisdom and perfection. One can be acquainted with the world within a few minutes via the internet. Internet is so informative that the user may avail himself or herself of the scope of collecting data for different disciplines. Email is beneficial to quick communication. Banking and investment systems become quick and errorless. Internet marketing is in vogue nowadays. Its benefits are many, but internet has now been abused by some. Chatting, for example, through the system of internet is now the most notorious. The youth have been wasting their energy indulging themselves in apparently useless chatting. Besides, Facebook is now being used mischievously. Although internet is a blessing of the modern science, it becomes a curse when it is used in doing something frivolous or criminal. Everyone, especially a student, should be aware of the abuses of internet. People should control themselves while availing themselves of the opportunity of internet, else they will become its victims. Word notes: enhance বৃদ্ধি করে, perception ধারণা, mischievously ক্ষতিকারক এমনভাবে, frivolous অসার, criminal অপরাধমূলক, in vogue প্রচলিত. Smartphones uses and abuses. Points: one of the gifts of modern science, used only for calls and for sending messages before, now used for multiple purposes, brought the world into the hands of human beings, used in voice and video calls, sending and receiving emails, net banking, UPI money transfer, conducting meetings and webinars, accounting, live telecasting, entertaining services like watching videos on YouTube, connecting with others through WhatsApp and Facebook, exploring the world of knowledge, news of the world, disadvantages, emit harmful radiation, spoil the teenagers, accidents, judicious use. We use manifold blessings of science and technology to make our lives more comfortable. Smartphone is one of the gifts of modern science that has changed our lifestyle. When mobile phones were first introduced, they were used only for calls and for sending messages. Now the scenario has changed completely. Smartphones are used for multiple purposes. The advent of smartphones has brought the world into the hands of human beings. No part of the world is too far away. Even teenagers are using smartphones skillfully. These phones are widely used for voice and video calls. They are widely used to communicate with people far from us. They are used for sending and receiving emails. All sorts of business can be managed by using a smartphone because a smartphone provides multiple services, essential services like net banking, UPI, money transfer, conducting meetings and webinars, accounting, live telecasting, and entertaining. Services like watching videos on YouTube, connecting others through WhatsApp and Facebook, and so on. It helps a learner to explore the world of knowledge. Today, smartphones are the main source of information. By using a smartphone, we come to know what is happening in the world, but nothing is an unmixed blessings under the sun. Smartphones emit harmful radiation that affects our vision. Too much use of smartphones by teenagers spoils their future by diverting their attention to the forbidden world. Every year, many accidents occur because of the use of mobile phones by drivers and bikers. Although there are both advantages and disadvantages of using smartphone, we should restrict ourselves and use them judiciously. পৃষ্ঠা 317 ওয়ার্ড নোটস লাইফস্টাইল জীবনধারা সিনারিও দৃশ্যকল্প আনমিক্সড খাঁটি এমিট নির্গত করা রেডিয়েশন বিকিরণ জুডিশিয়াসলি বিচক্ষণভাবে